Good morning, good morning. I see my good senator from Albany, Georgia, here bright and early. The Dean of the Senate, you're the first one here. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean. I'm sorry, the senator from the 34th. I will remind all the Clayton County constituency, their senator is here, present and ready for work here. At this time, I need all unauthorized personnel to exit the chamber. And I want to recognize my good friend, the senator from the 28th, Coweta County, the pride of Noonan, Georgia, right here.
Well, good morning, Mr. President. On this fine Boy Scout anniversary day, and Molasses Bar Day, and it's National Kite Flying Day. So look forward to watching you go out and fly your kite today there, Mr. President. And it's also Opera Day. And on this day in 1735, we had the first opera in the U.S. And I know you'll be singing this later for us, but Flora opened in Charleston, South Carolina, 1735. Now, for our pages, we've got our pages lined up in the back of the room today. Today's lineup, we've got Brendan Dunn, we've got Lucy Evans, we've got Highland Westbury Davis, we've got Taylor Huff, Cedarius Ingram, Rakivia Leslie, Angel Lewis, Colt Patton, Kamisha Robinson, Janiyah Watkins, Emma Wilson, Jackson Sims, Derek Wangai, and Dawson Pennington. So give our pages a round of hand and thank you for your work today. Mr. President, the journal has been read and found to be correct.
Thank you, Senator, and thank those pages as well for being here today. You got a big group today. We appreciate all their hard work today. Is there objection to dispensing with the reading of the journal? Chair hears none, and the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there objection to the confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none. The journal is confirmed. All senators who have bills and resolutions to introduce, please bring them to the Secretary's desk. First reading and references of Senate bills and resolutions.
Senate Bill 104 by Senator Rett of the 33rd, a bill to be entitled an act changing the compensation of the clerk of the Superior Court, the sheriff, and the judge of the probate court of Cobb County from the fee system to the salary system. Approved February 9th, 1949 as amended, particularly by an act approved.
State and local government.
Senate Bill 105 by Senators Walker III of the 20th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to retirement benefits payable upon normal, early, or delayed. Senate Bill 106 by Senators Walker III of the 20th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to medical assistance generally so as to provide for a 3-year
Health and Human Services.
Senate Bill 107 by Senator Burns of the 23rd and other, a bill to be entitled an act relating to health so as to enact Izzy's Law to provide that the Department of Public Health shall develop and make available for download from its internet website a model aquatic safety plan
Children
based
and
on
family.
Senate Bill 108 by Senator Burns of the 23rd and Anderson of the 24th, a bill to be entitled an act providing for a 7-member Board of Education of McDuffie County.
State and local government.
Senate Bill 109 by Senator Eccles of the 49th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to medical assistance generally so as to require the Department of Community Health to include continuous glucose monitors as a
Health
pharmacy.
and Human Services.
Senate Bill 110 by Senator Walker the third of the 20th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to general provisions for insurance so as to establish the Back the Blue Fund that distributes voluntary contributions made through motor vehicle insurance policies for the purpose of increasing the pay.
Insurance and labor.
Senate Bill 111 by Senators Huffstedler of the 52nd and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to professions and businesses so as to enact the Anesthesiologist Assistance Act, to provide for an anesthesiologist assistant to be appointed
Health and
in an
Human
advisory.
Services.
Senate Bill 112 by Senator Anna Vitarte of the 31st and others, bill to be entitled an act relating to vocational, technical, and adult education so as to provide for a pilot program whereby qualifying
Higher
private.
education.
Senate Bill 113 by Senator Robertson of the 29th and others, a bill to be entitled an act relating to the incorporation of municipal corporations so as to provide for the transition of services
State
and
and local
facilities.
government. General.
Senate Bill 114 by Senator Robertson of the 29th and others, a bill to be entitled an act to incorporate the city of Buckhead City to provide
State
for.
and local government. General.
Senate Resolution 109 by Senator Butler of the 55th and others, a resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to repeal the recognition of marriage as only the man.
Judiciary.
Senate Resolution 112 by Senator Brass of the 28th and others, a resolution commending Taiwan for its relations with the United States and the state of
Rules.
Georgia. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Do we have house readings? No house readings. Secretary will read report on standing committees.
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Rules has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 69 do pass. Senate Resolution 65 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Brass of the 28th District Chairman. The Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 73 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Cowser of the 46th District Chairman. The Senate Committee on Veterans, Military, and Homeland Security has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 21 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dugan of the 30th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
It is now time for the morning roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold that. Second readings, sorry.
Senate Bill 3 by Senator Albers of the 56 and others, Reducing Barriers to State Employment Act of 2023, enact. Senate Bill 23 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others, OCGA, various titles, to revise a committee name relating to inactive boards, panels, authorities, centers, commissions, committees, councils, task forces, and other such bodies. Provisions repeal. Senate Bill 39 by Senator Jackson of the 41st and others, Georgia Hemp Farming Act, persons convicted of any misdemeanor or certain felonies to grow industrial hemp allow. Senate Bill 44 by Senator Hatchett of the 50th and others, Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, mandatory minimum penalties for violations provide. Senate Bill 47 by Senator Huffstedler of the 52nd and others, offenses against public health and morals, vaping in restricted areas is a misdemeanor punishable by fine, provide. Senate Bill 60 by Senator Hatchett of the 50th and others, secondary metals recyclers, it shall be illegal for certain persons to purchase, possess, obtain, or sell, or attempt to purchase, possess, obtain, or sell, provide. That completes the order, Mr. President.
It is now time for the morning roll call. Are there any motions to excuse? Senator from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, y'all. I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the following senators for business inside the Capitol. 38, 35, 5, 55, 43, 10, and 50. Can't read my own handwriting.
Well, if you can't read it, Senator, I sure can't.
For business inside the Capitol. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. So the senator has made the motion to excuse the senator from 38th, the 35th, the 5th, the 55th, the 43rd, the 10th, and the mystery senator. All right.
I'm sorry, sir. One more. 55.
55. We already had 55, but that's all right. So without objection, those senators are excused. Any other excuse? Any other senators wish to excuse? Senator from the 30th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 26th.
Without
Business
objection,
somewhere.
the senator from the 26th is excused. Are there any other motions to excuse? Senator, you've just become the designated excuser, haven't you?
I know I'm the excused senator. 54. Oh, he just walked in.
All right. The secretary will unlock the machines. All signatures signify your voting. It is now time for the morning devotion. All senators, please take your seats and cease all conversation. I would ask the doorkeeper to secure the chamber at this time. And we actually had a senator from the 38th, I believe, had the chaplain the other day, but because of some accidents on the road, she was unable to get here. But fortunately, we have a ordained minister within our body here. So she's going to, the senator from the 41st, Senator Jackson, is going to pinch hit, and we greatly appreciate her being able to do the devotion today, because quite frankly, this was short notice, and so she threw together her talking points, and so she's ready to give the morning devotion. But let me lead everyone in our Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll introduce her. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Georgia flag. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag and to the principles for which it stands. Wisdom, justice, moderation, and courage.
Obviously, Kim Jackson is no stranger to this body. She's been a distinguished member of the past 3 years here, and she hails from Decatur, Georgia, and pastors a church over there. And she's a pleasure to work with here in this body, and I think she's one of those that gets along with everybody in this chamber. So glad to have her delivering the devotion today.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. It's such an honor to be able to address my friends in this way. I want to begin today with a story. In the early first century, there was this great preacher and teacher named Jesus who first appeared on the scene in Palestine. Now, we don't know the extent of his academic pedigree. I mean, clearly he didn't graduate from UGA or anything like that. But we do know that Jesus had a reputation of being very smart, thoughtful, and a wise teacher. In fact, because generations after generations have shared stories about him, well, we know that Jesus is considered one of the greatest ethical and moral teachers of all times across religions. He is the one who made famous the edicts to love your neighbor, to clothe the naked, to feed the hungry, and to care for the prisoner. So one day, this great teacher, this great ethicist was going about his business as usual, surrounded by, let's say, his usual constituents. When suddenly a woman approached him with a request. Now, perhaps it was because of her accent, or maybe it was just the way she looked, but it's clear that she just wasn't among the kind of people that Jesus normally engaged with. And so this very busy teacher, well, he opted to ignore her. But she asked again, Jesus, can you help me? And perhaps he was feeling a bit perturbed. Maybe he was distracted by some other important task that he was on his way to. Maybe he was talking to a lobbyist. I don't know what was happening. But Jesus outright rebukes her. Put in modern language, the great teacher Jesus essentially says to her, look, I'm not here for you people. But because she recognized his authority and his power to make real change in her life and in the lives of her loved ones, she asked him again, Sir, will you please help me? And in that moment, something changed for Jesus. It no longer mattered to him that she wasn't like the rest of the people that he tended to be advised by. Something shifted inside of that smart, wise, ethical teacher, and he changed his mind. He changed his mind. Dear friends, we were elected by the citizens of Georgia because people in our districts believed us to be smart, wise, and ethical leaders. Unlike Jesus, they even know when you went to UGA. And with that in mind, the people who elected us, they have given us the power, the authority, and the right to make very important decisions on their behalf. So I stand before you this day to urge you to open your ears, to hear from people that you might not usually listen to. I urge you to hear and to truly listen to the colleague who cast a ballot in November that looked nothing like yours. I invite you especially to respond to the pleas of those who may look or sound, vote, or even believe differently than you. May we learn from that great first century teacher named Jesus. And because of your great wisdom, because you are a great ethicist, may you walk into each conversation, whether it's on the floor or at the ropes, on the phone or in your office, may you walk into those conversations with the possibility that you might just get to change your mind. Let us pray, my friends. God of wisdom, be with this Senate this day. Guide us to make good, ethical, and wise decisions on behalf of all who live and work and play in this great state. Help us each to break the habits of refusing to listen and failing to see the importance of each other. We pray for all Georgians. We ask that you would bless us, guide us, and fill us with your peace. Amen.
if I could have everybody's attention. Always great to have the doctor of the day, and we always appreciate our physicians that come down here and volunteer their time, and I appreciate all they do, and particularly the ones like our doctor today who works mostly in rural Georgia. So from Macon, Georgia, and I'll call on the senator from the 39th to introduce our doctor.
Good morning. Thrilled to be able to introduce our doctor of the day today, and she is no stranger to the Capitol. In fact, I first met her last year when she was here for Doctor of the Day, and I myself actually got to use her services. But Dr. Keisha Renee Collins is an obstetrician gynecologist with the Community Health Care Systems, a federally qualified health center network in Central Georgia. She currently serves as chair of the National Advisory Council for the National Health Service Corporations and was a former NHSC scholar. She serves as a clinical assistant professor and Joy McCann Endowed Professor with Mercer University School of Medicine, and she was appointed by the governor to serve on the Georgia Composite Medical Board and the Sandra Dunnigan Deal Early Language and Literacy Board, which she continues to serve on today. She serves on the board of directors for the Healthcare Georgia Foundation Board, the Georgia State Medical Association, the Bibb County Medical Society. She is the chair for the Medical Association of Georgia, MAG, Task Force on Physician Healthcare Workforce Resilient, and the Georgia OBGYN Society Breastfeeding Medicine Committee. She's participated in several leadership opportunities, such as Leadership Georgia, MAG's Georgia Physicians Leadership Academy, and the CHAMPS, Transformational Healthcare Leadership Fellowship at Morehouse School of Medicine. She's got all kinds of memberships. She has earned her degree in biology from the University of Virginia, her master's in public health degree from the University of Alabama at Birmingham School of Public Health, and a doctor of medicine degree from Atlanta's own Morehouse School of Medicine, and graduate medical training at Morehouse School of Medicine's OBGYN residency program. Clearly, she brings a wealth of knowledge to women's health for rural and underserved populations, and she is actively engaged in pipeline mentorship, translational research, and community engagement. Her personal mission statement is, "You may not be able to change the world, but you can change the world of everyone with whom you interact." Please welcome Dr. Keisha Collins, our Doctor of the Day.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor and a privilege to be able to be here of service today. I wanted to start out by just saying how excited I am. It's always a pleasure to serve as Doctor of the Day, but today is especially special because it's also Physicians Day at the Capitol. And so we have a lot of friends that are here today. I know a lot of the fellow physicians and colleagues, and we have medical students and residents that are here, and so such an exciting day. So I know that you have a very packed agenda, and so I just wanted to let you know how much we appreciate the work that you do on our behalf. And it is an honor to work in partnership with you as we try to make things better for the citizens of Georgia. I would like to just leave a quote from Dr. Satcher, a former Surgeon General. "We need leaders who care enough. We need leaders who learn enough. We need leaders who do enough. We need leaders who will persevere until the job is done." So I'd like to personalize that quote for us here today, and I'm going to repeat it. We need legislators who care enough. We need legislators who learn enough. We need legislators who do enough. We need legislators who will persevere until the job is done. And as I walk away, I'd like to leave my daily prayer with you. And in the mornings, I ask God to give us the capacity to meet our calling and the passion to meet our purpose. Thank you for your service.
we've got several groups here today, special guests, and before we announce our special presentation today, I do want to recognize our more physicians from Macon, Georgia here. This is some of our guys from Navitas Health as well as Ortho Georgia, and so appreciative to have you all here today. So thank y'all very much for being down here. We have a special presentation, and the secretary will read the caption.
Senate Resolution 68 by Senator Walker III of the 20th and others, a resolution commending the University of Georgia 4-H program and Ms. Vinya Gunjal, Mrs. Melanie Byersmith, and the 2022-2023 4-H leadership teams, and recognizing February 8, 2023 as 4-H Day at the state capitol and for other purposes. Whereas 4-H members consistently demonstrate the ability and leadership necessary to be champions and serve as outstanding representatives and officers of the young people of Georgia. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body commend the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences 4-H program, Ms. Vinya Gunjal, State 4-H President, Mrs. Melanie Byersmith, State 4-H Leader, and each of the 2022-2023 4-H District Presidents. 2022 National 4-H Conference Delegates, 2022 Leadership in Action winners, 2022 Dean Awards winners, 2022 National Winner in Poultry Judging, 2022 National Winners in the National Consumer Judging Contest, 2022 William H. Booth Award honoree, 2022 Riles Rising Star winner, 2022 Volunteer of the Year winner, 2022 Outstanding Lifetime Volunteer winner for their numerous accomplishments and for the leadership they have just demonstrated, as well as recognized February 8th, 2023 as 4-H Day at the state capitol. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. It is now my time to call on our good friend, the senator from the 20th, to speak to the special group here. We have a number of 4-H members here in the balcony, and we want to give them a warm Senate welcome because the 4-H, here we go. Yeah, that's exactly right. No question that 4-H is a organization that's done so many great things for our young people here in this state, and we want to show our support. And I appreciate the senator from the 47th as well as the 23rd and the 33rd for standing here, but now 24th. I apologize for that, Senator. Now I call on the senator from Perry, Georgia, to speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my honor to bring this resolution to you today as we proclaim Georgia 4-H Day. Proud to see the gallery full of green jackets and 4-Hers. Georgia 4-H began in 1904, and since then it's had a tremendous impact on thousands and thousands of Georgia youth and has created a lot of leaders in Georgia. It's a great leadership training program. The 4-H's symbolize the development of the head, the heart, the hands, and health. And their pledge is, I pledge my head to clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living for my club, my community, my country, and my world. I had the honor of speaking at their state assembly at Rock Eagle recently, and I was just blown away by the talent and great kids that were there, and it's just a wonderful program. Today I have with us on the dais the state 4-H president, Ms. Vinya Gunjal. She is a constituent of the senator from the 33rd from Cobb County. Ms. Melanie Byersmith, the state 4-H leader. Dr. Nick Place, Dean of the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. Dr. Laura Perry Johnson, Associate Dean for Extension, and Ms. Kelly Ashley, Georgia 4-H Leadership and Civic Engagement Specialist. I'm going to turn the mic over to let you all hear from the State 4-H President. Thank you.
Lieutenant Governor Jones, Majority Leader Gooch, Minority Leader Butler, Honorable Ladies and Gentlemen of the Senate, 4-Hers, and staff, good morning. My name is Vinya Gunjal, and I'm an 11th grade student in the STEM Magnet program at Wheeler High School in Cobb County, Georgia. I am honored to serve as this year's State 4-H President and speak to you on behalf of over 152,000 4-Hers across Georgia. 4-H has been a driving force in exploring my passion for science since I gave my 5th grade presentation on wind power. 7 years later, I continue to learn more about STEM through 4-H. Georgia 4-H builds the next generation of leaders by engaging youth people with life-changing experiences in agriculture and STEM, healthy living, and civic engagement. These opportunities are made possible by the dedication of volunteers, county agents, and other adult leaders that make Georgia 4-H's premier youth leadership program. On behalf of the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, Cooperative Extension, and all 4-H members, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for your lasting support of a program that is making the best better for tomorrow. Thank you.
Well done. We have some more special guests here with us today, and we were waiting for them to, there's a bunch of them coming into the balcony, so we wanted to give our good men and women in law enforcement an opportunity to get in here so they could see the recognition. And I call the secretaries to read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 72 by Senator Robertson of the 29th and others, a resolution recognizing February 8th, 2023 as Law Enforcement Appreciation Day at the Capitol and commending law enforcement officers in Georgia and for other purposes. And whereas Georgia law enforcement officers are highly trained professionals who work overtime to ensure the safety of our communities. And whereas law enforcement officers from Georgia state agencies, including the Georgia State Patrol and other law enforcement agencies, work cooperatively to enhance public safety. And whereas Georgia law enforcement officers put their lives on the line every day as they serve with honor, courage, dignity, and concern for their fellow citizens. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize February 8th, 2023 as Law Enforcement Appreciation Day at the Capitol and commend law enforcement officers in Georgia for protecting our communities and putting their lives on the line every day. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. Great honor to have all our men and women in law enforcement here today at the Capitol, and got to see a big group of them this morning. And if you hadn't had a chance to go by and thank some of your local Trooper DNR, GBI officials, or local PD, or even or sheriff's offices, go by and see them and just tell them thank you for their service, their time, and their dedication to public safety and to the men and to this great state. I'll call on our good friend from the 29th, who he himself is a retired law enforcement officer from Columbus, Georgia. Senator.
Thank you, Governor. Colleagues, I'm honored today to recognize February 8, 2023 as Law Enforcement Appreciation Day here at the Capitol. We always swell with pride when we talk about Georgia being the greatest state to do business in, and some of the greatest neighborhoods to live in, and some of the safest neighborhoods to live in. We all love our communities, but many times, because out of sight, out of mind tends to infect us all at some point, we forget that the reason we're able to live in these great communities many times is because of the incredible public safety that exists in those communities that protects those of us who choose to walk the straight and narrow, the opportunity to do that without harm or any harm coming to our families. And this is because of the men and women of law enforcement. I've told you many times that I'm proud to be a part of that tribe, and that tribe is made up of male, female, black, white, Protestant, Jewish. We're just a melting pot of what the state of Georgia is. And here in the state of Georgia, we have 60,000 law enforcement officers to protect almost 11 million men and women that live here, and all of our friends and family that pass through and visit this great state of ours. And I want to point out that for those men and women out there, a lot of times they feel by themselves. But they're a group of law enforcement officers, state and local law enforcement officers, that have come together and united so that the law enforcement voice here in the state of Georgia is a singular voice. And that's the Georgia Fraternal Order of Police, and they have done an incredible job. And the man that started that push and the man that brought the success to that organization that it has today is a retired state trooper and a very good friend of mine and a mentor of mine and someone I look up to, and that's retired GSP officer Carlton Stallings.
You don't have to watch the evening news a lot to see the turmoil that goes around in the United States. But here in Georgia, I'm proud to say, we don't have those problems. And like Randy said, we don't have those problems because of the brave men and women in law enforcement that we have. And that wouldn't be a success without this body here, because you've always had our back in everything we do. The governor has our back, and we certainly appreciate that. That's what makes everything work. So on behalf of the 60,000 brave men and women of law enforcement, I want to thank Senator Robertson and you for this resolution, and I present this to them. So thank you very much.
We have one more special presentation today, and we've got a very special group here. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 100 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th and others, a resolution recognizing and commending the Young Lawyers Division of the State Bar of Georgia for its 75 years of service and for other purposes. Whereas the YLD has been recognized and accredited over the years for spearheading many initiatives and programs, including the Georgia Legal Services Program, the Georgia High School Mock Trial Program, and more. And whereas it is abundantly fitting and proper that this outstanding division be appropriately honored. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize and commend the Young Lawyers Division of the State Bar of Georgia for its 75 years of efficient, effective, and exemplary service on behalf of this state and extend sincere best wishes for its continued success. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Thank you. Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. It's a pleasure to have the pro tem of the Senate to introduce our special guests. We have a group of young lawyers here today, and we are proud of the work they're going to be doing very soon in the near future, and we're proud of them, glad that they're here and they're interested in the process of how laws are actually made. And I can promise you it's probably not in the textbooks that you just studied, but I would like to introduce the senator from the 18th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. It really is a pleasure for me to introduce this group of folks to you, and happy to honor the Younger Lawyers Division of the State Bar that are visiting the Capitol with us today. They represent about 10,000 members across Georgia, many of whom, of course, are constituents of yours. The Younger Lawyers Division spearheads many initiatives, including the Georgia Legal Services Program, and also the Georgia High School Mock Trial Program that probably some of your children or grandchildren or many of your constituents have participated in. It truly has become a fantastic program that's recognized around the country for what it does. And also, you may have heard about the Legal Food Frenzy. That's something else that the Younger Lawyers Division annually participates in and promotes. It's, of course, sponsored by our Attorney General, Chris Carr, but with the Legal Food Frenzy and the work of the folks behind me and the other younger lawyers around the state have raised over 20 million pounds of food for Georgia's various food banks across the state. So I certainly enjoyed my time. In case the Y in YLD stands for younger. I'm no longer a Y, but the folks on the stage, on the rostrum with me are, and I'm honored to have them with us today. Let me introduce some folks. The president of the Younger Lawyers Division is Ron Daniels. The president-elect is Brittany Browning behind me. YLD officer Jenna Emery is with us. Leadership Academy advisor Taylor Dove. And I have to tell you, on a very personal point, one of my dear friends, an outstanding associate in my law firm, and quite frankly, one of the guys that enables me to come here and do what I do with y'all, because James Banter is keeping the trains on the track back in my practice and our law firm back in Macon is with me, and I appreciate what he does and his friendship. And also in the gallery, we've got several members of the YLD Leadership Academy, which are YLD members that are going through a special leadership program that turns out great leaders not only for the bar but for our communities and across the state. And I want to now give a special welcome and invite Ron Daniels to the rostrum to say a few words.
Good morning, Mr. Lieutenant Governor, esteemed senators. It is a pleasure to be here before you. Our Leadership Academy program has been coming to the Capitol and learning how laws are made and seeing the process at a firsthand view for over a decade. However, this is the first time that either body has recognized us, and I am very proud that it is the Senate. I'm also proud that y'all allowed somebody from Ryan, Georgia to stand here before y'all. I know that probably took a little bit of courage. But most importantly, I want to thank you for your service to the state. The work you do is of great importance, and we as young lawyers appreciate it, and we are just terribly honored to be here before you today. Thank you.
Are there any unanimous consents? Chair hearing none. Does any senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? Senator from the 12th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues, and I rise to welcome a very important organization to the Capitol today. I've had a very close connection with these individuals for a very, very long time, a lot of years. And I want to recognize Communities in Schools. It's an organization that has highly trained site coordinators in many of your districts across the state. These individuals partner with local businesses, social service agencies, healthcare providers, and community volunteers to provide disadvantaged students with the resources that they need to succeed in school as well as in life. CIS provides services to in 2022, over 85,000 underserved students, including case management services, to 6,235 students, as well as whole school support to nearly 84,000 students throughout the state of Georgia. This service-oriented organization additionally helped 29,000 parents and guardians become involved and engaged in Georgia schools. 96% of the students aided by CSS are high school graduates. 70.6% of students with attendance problems showed significant improvement in their attendance, and 97% of high school students stayed in school. Today, we welcome CIS, Communities in Schools. We are very appreciative for what you do and are doing throughout the entire state to service our students. Thank you so very much. And having said that, thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well. Thank you. And we would like for them to stand. We would like for our CIS there, and please welcome them with a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President, my fellow senators, colleagues, friends, and y'all. Today, I'm going to talk about another Black History Month figure, and it's once again from our own Senate, Senator Emanuel Jones. He is elected to the Georgia Senate for the Georgia's 10th District in Georgia. Senator Jones represents Southwest DeKalb and Henry County. He is the current chairman of the Martin Luther King Jr. Advisory Council and formerly served as chairman of the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus for 2 consecutive legislative sessions. Senator Jones is president of Legacy Automotive Group, which includes Legacy Chevrolet Cadillac Saab of Columbus, Legacy Ford of Medina. Senator Jones is the owner of one of Atlanta's area's largest African-American-owned business. He is known for shaking your hand and getting your vote and selling you a car with a smile. Most recently, Senator Jones was honored as a recipient of the Global Peace Festival Award in Malaysia and named as one of Atlanta Tribune Magazine Men of Distinction. He has also received the Black Enterprise Top 50 Minority-Owned Companies Award as well as the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Service Firm of the Year. He received his MBA in Finance Accounting from Columbia University, preceded by a bachelor degree in electrical engineering from the University of Pennsylvania. The senator from the 10th is also a veteran of the United States Army Corps of Engineers. In high school, he graduated valedictorian from West Fulton High School in Atlanta. The senator had a career position with IBM, Arthur Anderson and Company, prior to entering the automobile business as a dealer for the Ford Motor Company. I could go on and talk about the many distinguished attributes which warrant our recognition of the senator, our colleague, as a figure in Black history. But I was thinking the other day, the chaplain of the day talked about how sometimes God will send you down paths where he wants you and not necessarily where you want to go. And I just want to take this time out to thank the senator from the 10th for being a trailblazer, a historic figure on the path from Bankhead houses to the state capitol, Georgia, and the Senate. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 10th, is he shopping on your lot this week or something? You give him the brother-in-law rate, you know. So, no, I'm glad the senator from the 10th is a very special individual. He's been serving this body a long time, and he's an outstanding business person as well. So thank you, Senator, for those kind words. Next, I guess we better call on the senator from the 8th. He's got his emotional support animal over there, a 3-foot long alligator there. I want to go. That's real. You know, only in Lowndes County, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. President, we're big dog fans, aren't we? Well, these are Georgia Gators, not Florida Gators, I just want to say. But it's myself and Senator Mike Hodges. We represent the districts that surround the Okefenokee Swamp, and we've got 3 great friends here today. I've got my good friend Kim Betternick, who's the Executive Director of the Okefenokee Swamp Park. We have Katie Anzac, and Katie is from the Okefenokee RESA. She's Okefenokee RESA educator. And the life-size alligator is, believe it or not, is Miss Melody Martindale from the Okefenokee Chamber of Commerce. And so today is, as I said before, Okefenokee Swamp Day, and I'd like to read a resolution. Incidentally, the Okefenokee Swamp is, I believe, is on tap to become a World Heritage Site. That's what we're hoping and praying for. So I'd like to read this resolution to you today, recognizing the importance of the Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia and for other purposes. Whereas the state of Georgia is blessed with the unrivaled beauty of the Okefenokee Swamp, the largest blackwater wetland in North America, and whereas the Okefenokee Swamp is recognized as one of Georgia's 7 natural wonders and a natural area unique not only to the state of Georgia, but also to the United States of America and the world. And whereas the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge is being considered for nomination as an internationally recognized natural area for United Nations World Heritage Site designation. And whereas the Okefenokee Swamp spans 438,000 acres, with 93% of it protected, has the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge, including 353,000 acres, designated as a national wilderness area by Congress. And whereas Georgia's Stephen C. Foster State Park lies within the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge and is designated as an international dark sky park, and whereas the Okefenokee Swamp hosts more than 650,000 visits by Americans and international tourists to Georgia on an annual basis, generating upwards of $64.7 million annually for the economies of Ware, Clinch, and Charlton counties, and creating some 750 swamp tourism-related jobs. And whereas the Okefenokee Wilderness Canoe Trail, part of the National Water Trails system, is visited regularly by anglers and tourists seeking a true wilderness experience. Whereas the Okefenokee Swamp has inspired countless Georgia naturalists, artists, and writers, and has given us our very own state opossum, which is Pogo the possum. And whereas it is abundantly fitting and proper for this body to recognize the extraordinary natural wonder that is the Okefenokee Swamp, now therefore be it resolved that the members of this body recognize the importance of the Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia and encourage efforts to protect the Okefenokee Swamp and promote it as an international tourist destination. Be it further resolved, well, this is from the other, I'm going to leave that part out. But anyway, I'm excited to have them here. Thank you for being here. We appreciate what you do, certainly in my district and Senator Hodges' district, and appreciate what you mean to our state and what you do. So thank you. Mr. President, I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 32nd, do you wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? Senator?
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, some of you may have noticed that there are a lot of people in white coats running around here today. Today is Physician Day at the Capitol. It's hard to practice medicine these days, but it's rewarding and a privilege to take care of patients. I miss it every single day. I just want to thank the doctors that are here for taking time out of their busy schedules and time away from their practices to come down and interact with the legislature. The docs of Georgia have your back and that of your constituents, and so I hope you'll take the opportunity to meet with the doctors from your district while they're here. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Senator from the 29th.
Colleagues, I rise today for a special occasion, but before I do that, I'm used to seeing snakes in the Capitol. This is unusual to see a different type of reptile, so I know we're all a little amazed by that. But the reason I rise today is something much more beautiful than that. On February 8th, approximately 28 years ago today, God blessed me with my only son, an incredible boy who allowed me to take him to football, to baseball, to scouting, and all the other things that I said I was doing for him, but I think more so I was doing it for both of us. The blessings that I received, I think, were much, much greater than the blessings he received from his helicopter father, if you will. But my son, Wiley Randall Seth, lives down in Florida. He's in the solar business today. He's 28 years old, and he continues each and every day to make me the proudest father on this planet. God bless you, Seth. Happy birthday. Dad loves you. Mr. President, I yield the well.
Senator from the 28th, who'd like to rise on point of personal privilege?
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to recognize a very special group that's near and dear to my heart because they're from my hometown, the city of Holmes, Noonan, Georgia. I've got the Noonan Youth Council with us here today in the gallery. If y'all would please stand up to be recognized. I know many of these young men and women's parents, and glad to see you, and thank you, Jamie Keith, for volunteering your time and efforts through the years bringing this great group up. And I know there are many others that I know Coach Kirk Stallings brings them as well. He's their driver, and he used to coach me in football. So I just appreciate all that y'all are doing. Hope you learned something today, and don't do what we do. So with that, I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from the 2nd. Oh, Senator, you got to go around, man. Come on, freshman. Feel like I'll just play you. I was picking at you, Senator. You didn't have to do that.
I'm in a few organizations. Thank you, Mr. President. This morning I rise to acknowledge a group from my district in Savannah here for Sickle Cell Advocacy Day here at the Capitol. I believe they're in the gallery to my left. I saw them when I came up. I just want to acknowledge that they're here today representing sickle cell and all that is entitled with sickle cell, making us more aware about that. So I'm thankful that they came to the Capitol today. So I just want to recognize them. And I saw Reverend Barbara Simmons. I don't know if she's still in the gallery, but thank you all for coming today. With that, Mr. President, I yield the well.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you for recognizing that group today. Senator from the 35th, would you like to speak from your desk? Mm-hmm.
I might not be able to stand up.
That's fine. Just stay seated. You stay seated.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Appreciate the opportunity to speak from my desk this morning. But colleagues, I sit to honor a great Georgian, Cynthia Denise Johnson, my baby sister, who earned her wings last Saturday. She just didn't wake up, so she died in peace suddenly. And I know that I heard just now that you gave a moment of silence for her a couple of days ago. So thank you very much for praying for me and my family. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. And we definitely needed the prayers. And so continue to pray for us. Her wake is tonight and her funeral is tomorrow. And I've tried to be here to still serve the people of Georgia through all that we're going through in the family right now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Cynthia, I heard the living Black history person today, our very own senator from the 10th, was a valedictorian of his school. Well, she was a valedictorian from Douglas High School back years ago. She was born in '63, and I guess that makes her 59 years old now. So I don't know. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep us in your prayers. And I know she had a big smile all the time. She was a very beautiful woman. And I know she's smiling in heaven right now. So thank you for your love. I appreciate it. I yield a well.
Thank you, Senator. And we are sorry for your loss and wish y'all nothing but prayer and comfort in the time of loss. Senator from 11th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to let everyone know that the Rural Caucus is meeting today for lunch. If you don't have plans, I know there are a lot of people in town, but Georgia Forestry Association is sponsoring, as well as Georgia Tech, and they'll be talking about some of the rural computer science programs that they have. So if you don't have lunch plans, come over to Department of Ag for lunch today. Thank you.
Senator from the 9th.
greatest. Just wanted to make an announcement. The Georgia Legislative Black Caucus is inviting all members to of the GLBC to grab lunch today in CLOB 310, and it will be followed shortly by a meeting at 1 p.m. and you can do that via Zoom. The GLBC would also like to invite members to the GLBC retreat that is on Friday, this Friday, February 10th. It is at Enon Ranch. We also, and that's from 9 a.m. to 9:30. Please RSVP with Senator Donzella James if you will be joining us this Friday, the 10th. And also wanted to remind our body that to come out and support the Heritage Dinner that is on February 23rd. If you need any more details, come see me or Senator Mallow. And I think that is it. We do need your, we have a trip to, no, that's it. We have a trip I will announce that is Tyler Perry Studios. We will need your t-shirt size. Please go see Senator Donzella James so that we can get your t-shirt size and the package. Thank you all. Oh, and you can join GLBC. You can join as an associate. We would love to have you. If you would like to, come see me or come see Senator Derek Mallow. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I recognize the Majority Leader for a motion.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, February the 9th.
The Majority Leader has moved, but we have some privileged resolutions for the consent calendar we must address first. No, it's fine. We'll keep your motion right now. You have before you a consent calendar of privileged resolutions. Does any senator wish to remove a resolution from the consent calendar? Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution of the consent calendar? Chair hears none, and the resolution of the consent calendar are adopted. Secretary, read the announcements.
The Rules Committee meeting will happen upon adjournment in 450 of the Capitol. The Public Safety Committee meeting will happen at 1 p.m. in 450 of the Capitol. The Banking and Financial Institutions Committee meeting will happen at 1 p.m. in Mezzanine 1 of the Capitol. The Appropriations Economic Development Subcommittee meeting will happen at 1 p.m. in 310 CLOB. The Joint Education and Higher Education Committee meeting will happen at 2 p.m. in 307 CLOB. The Insurance and Labor Committee meeting will happen at 2 p.m. in Mezzanine 1 of the Capitol. The Health and Human Services Committee meeting is canceled. The Appropriations Transportation Subcommittee meeting will happen at 3 p.m. in 307 CLOB, and the Finance Committee meeting will happen at 4 p.m. in Mezzanine 1 of the Capitol. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Thank you. The Majority Leader has moved that we stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Thursday, February 9th. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes clearly have it. We're adjourned.